爸爸，那么开头可以讲什么？Hello, guys! Today I'm going to read you a storybook. It is called Fancy Nancy and the Boy from Paris. So let's get started. I almost always get to school early, but on Monday I am tardy. That's a fancy word for late. I come in and see a new kid. He is standing next to Miss Grass. Robert comes from Paris. Miss Grass is telling everyone he just moved here. Paris. Paris is a city in France. It is gorgeous. That is a fancy word for beautiful. So this is Miss Grass, and she is introducing the new boy to everyone in her class. So this is the new boy. He is called Robert, and he comes from Paris. Nancy thought that he comes from Paris, France. But actually, in the end, Robert tells her that he comes from Paris, Texas. 这是 Miss Grass 在跟大家介绍这一位新来的同学，他叫做 Robert。他从巴黎来。Nancy 以为他从巴黎 France 那边来，但 Robert 其实在最后面，他跟 Nancy 讲说，他不是从巴黎法国那边来，他从巴黎 Texas 那边来。Bonjour, I say in the book nook. In French, that means hello. I'm Nancy. I never met anybody from Paris before. I speak so slowly. I speak slowly so he will understand. Bonjour, I say in the book nook. In French, that means hello. I'm Nancy. I never met anybody from Bonjour, I say in the book nook. In French, that means hello. I'm Nancy. I never met anybody from Paris before. I speak slowly so he will understand. It's really nice there, Robert says. I miss it. He has a book on cowboys. He probably wants to learn all about his country. I want to go there someday. I show him my book. It is about a dog in Paris. Do you like the United States? Yes, says Robert. Don't you? Yes, I do, I say. I've lived here all my life. Then Miss Grass puts a finger to her mouth. This is not talking time, she says. This is reading time. Nancy and Robert looked like they are best friends. They were talking about Paris. But then Miss Grass told them that it's reading time, not talking time. I think Nancy seems a bit interested in Paris, just like Robert. They both like Paris, and they are best friends. They look like best friends. Nancy 就开始跟 Robert 聊巴黎，但是呢 ，Miss Grass 就说是在阅读的时间，不是在讲话的时间。他们看起来很像好朋友。Nancy 也对法国对巴黎那边很有兴趣，就跟 Robert 一样。他们看起来很像好朋友，一直聊法国巴黎那边。 On Tuesday, I sit next to Robert at lunch. Have you ever been to the Eiffel Tower? I ask him. Robert nods and swallows. Lots of times. Our house was near it. Nancy 我知道 Nancy 为什么她会跟 Robert 就在一起，因为她想要跟 Robert 做朋友。I think Nancy wants to be best friends with Robert. Maybe that's why she wants to sit next to Robert at lunch. I'll tell Robert I know about the Eiffel Tower. There's a poster of it in my room. I know lots about Paris. I share some of my lunch. These are donut holes, I say. Robert gives me a funny look. I know that. I have eaten donut holes before. 然后 Nancy 就开始跟 Robert 讲起他的家，他就说他家里面有一个很大海报，上面有了埃菲尔铁塔。他懂巴黎的，他对巴黎他懂很多东西，跟巴黎有关的东西。我觉得 Nancy 是要跟 Robert 做朋友，不是在交谈。So this is Nancy, and this is Robert, and she is telling Robert about her room. She says that she knows about the Eiffel Tower, and there's a poster of it in her room, and she knows lots and lots of things about Paris. I think Nancy wants to be Robert's best friend. That night, I tell my mom and dad about Robert. He is very nice. He already speaks English. I want to be his friend. How do you say friend in French? The word is ami, my mom says. You say it like this, ami. I love French. Everything seems... That night, I tell my mom and dad about Robert. He is very nice. He already speaks English. I want to be his friend. How do you say friend in French? The word is ami, my mom says. You say it like this, ami. I love French. Everything sounds so fancy. Why don't you ask him over to play? My dad says. So the next day I do. We can play soccer. Did you play soccer in Paris? Sure, all the time, Robert says. I'm a good kicker. I can come on Friday. On Thursday, it is show and show. Robert brings in a toy horse. It is brown and white. My grandpa has a horse like this. Then Robert passes around the photo. I miss her a lot. Her name is Belle. In French, that means beautiful. Belle, I say to myself. Now I know another French word. On Friday, Mom is at work. Mrs. Devine picks us up from school. Mrs. Devine lives next door, I tell Robert. Robert is from Paris, I tell Mrs. Devine. At home, we make a tent in the yard. We pretend bears are outside. We pretend to be terrified. That's a friend. At home, we make a tent in the yard. We pretend bears are outside. We pretend to be terrified. That's a fancy word for scared. I think Nancy is introducing Robert to Mrs. Devine, and Nancy is introducing Mrs. Devine to Robert. Do you think Nancy wants to be Robert's mate now? I mean, do you think that Nancy wants to be Robert's friend now? Well, they did play together outside her home in the yard. Fancy Well, those are Nancy's toy bears, and they made out a tent. And when they saw the bears, they pretend to be terrified. Nancy 就介绍 Mrs. Divine。Nancy 就跟 Robert 介绍 Mrs. Divine， 然后 Nancy 就跟 Mrs. Divine 介绍 Robert。你觉得 Nancy 想不想要当 Robert 的朋友？看起来好像是他们想要当朋友。他们在家的院子那边玩。Nancy 拿出他的玩具熊，然后他们两个做了一个帐篷。当他们看到熊的时候，就假装他们很害怕。Then we play soccer. Wait, and my little sister play too. Robert is a good. Then we play soccer. Wait, and my little sister play too. Robert is a great kicker. My dog runs around the yard. That's Frenchy, I tell Robert. She is not really French, but you will like her anyway. We go inside, and I show Robert my room. See? That's the Eiffel Tower, I say. Yes, says Robert, but that one does not have a cowboy hat on it. That Eiffel Tower is in Paris, France. It is taller, and it is more famous. But we have an Eiffel Tower too. Our Eiffel Tower has a cowboy hat on the top. Wait a minute, I'm very perplexed. That's a fancy word for mixed up. But you're from Paris, France, I say, aren't you? No, I'm from Texas. Paris, Texas, Robert says. Miss Grass told everybody that the first day. Robert shows me Paris, Texas on my globe. Nancy gets a bit confused because she thinks that Robert comes from Paris, France. But Robert says that he comes from Paris, Texas. He also said that Miss Grass told everybody that he comes from Paris, Texas on the first day when he was the new kid. Nancy 就有一点点困惑，因为他觉得 Robert 他从巴黎法国那边来，但是 Robert 却说他从巴黎 Texas 那边来。然后他也有说 Miss Grass 跟大家讲他从巴黎 Texas 那边来，在第一天的时候。Nancy 终于懂 Robert 从巴黎 Texas 那边来的。Oh, I guess I missed that part, and I feel a little silly. But not for long. After all, I have a new army, even if he isn't French. Eventually, Nancy has got a new friend. He is called Robert. They look like best friends. They play chess together in her house or outside her house. They play together with her toys and her dog. Nancy 她有了一个新的朋友，也不管他是不是从法国那边来的，或是会讲法国，他还是他的好朋友。Robert 跟他看起来很像是好朋友，他们一起在他家里面或是外面玩跳棋，跟他的玩具玩，还有他的小狗玩。 Fancy Nancy 还有 Robert 一样还是好朋友。Fancy Nancy's fancy words. These are the fancy words in this book. Army, friend in French. You say like this. Army. Belle, beautiful in French. You say like this. Belle. Bonjour. Hello in French. You say like this. Bonjour. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Perplexed. Mixed up. Tardy. Late. Terrified. Scared. Thanks for reading this book. Which book do you want me to read next time if I'm making another video of me reading a book? I do hope that my best friend May will watch this video and give me a thumbs up. And I do hope my best friends Iris and Vian will watch this podcast about this book tonight. Wait, just a new update. Well, next Saturday I'm going to tutor Junior. And this time they're going to interview me and my dad, and I'm making 2 videos. One video is about November and another video is me introducing myself. Well, only a short video, okay? And I will write a story when I go to tutor Junior. And I can show Vian my story too. Thank you so much. Bye for now.